Salut tout le monde, it's your boyadero, Lukael, and welcome back to DISCO ELYSIUM! So excited about today. I'm recording this like the very next day after the last episode. We stopped at a critical point just before we were about to talk to this woman who has our gun. So I was just really excited to jump right back in. In the previous episode, we got in touch with the coalition warship, the Archer, and then they even picked us up, and that seemed to be like an alternate ending where Harry just disappears, abducted by the coalition like a cow being abducted by aliens or something. And then we also advanced a bunch of other side quests. We played some suzerainty with Kim, which was pretty funny. But enough about last episode. Let's jump into this episode. So as always, thank you for joining me, and without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, what the hell are we dealing with here? This woman is just like cranking some... Is it like a little music box that creates like a siren? She's got police lights on her back, a megaphone, and she's just waving my gun around. So we're dealing with some kind of loony
Put
here.
your hands where I can see them.
The aging woman under a mountain of police paraphernalia mumbles to herself, then notices you and reaches for the megaphone.
Show me your hands. This is the pigs. Show me your hands. Right now. Show me your hands. Right now.
Okay, so this is what we're dealing with here, huh?
Scavenged, battery-powered police lights protrude from her back. The flickering light show reveals a gun in her shaking hand.
Aptly named the pigs.
Madame, please drop the firearm immediately.
I was expecting Kim to kind of remain calm and just be like, ma'am, please just calm down. And like, he's fucking guns out right from the start.
You shouldn't be here. Something's very wrong with her. She's completely out of control.
What should we do, Kim?
This is bad. Getting a weapon back is the priority. We can't have an unhinged civilian running around with a gun.
Comply, or I will light you the fuck up.
She continues to yell as she lumbers about. I mean, so she's just, what, like a wannabe policeman? Raise your hands. Easy, ma'am. Take it easy. It's just a standard flashlight, ma'am. Calm down. Can even commend the fact that I have a flashlight. I don't feel comfortable being separated from my multi-tool. It's just a flashlight, ma'am. Calm down.
Failure to comply. Suspect is displaying aggression. Officer, under duress. Officer, under duress.
Aggression?
Her eyes bulge with terror. Veins protrude on her forehead.
I am the police. Don't move. Don't move. Hands on your head. Suspect is armed and dangerous.
Let me lower that environment volume a little bit. I'm not moving.
Suspect is on the loose. Suspect at large. Officer, administers street justice at her own peril.
Okay, so she's just actually insane. Like, it doesn't matter what I say.
That one extra lick with a baton or extra knee strike above was what was actually required. Suspect is under control. Suspect is under control.
I'm not sure she even hears what we're saying.
Be careful, detective. Don't do anything that might set her off.
What would set her off? What would not set her off? Can you tell?
You'll have to go for the gun sooner or later. Perhaps you can learn crucial facts before you do. This is dangerous. You're 70% certain you always leave your gun loaded.
Hand-eye coordination is at 5. We can solve this peacefully. Please lower the weapon. Please identify yourself, ma'am. You're not the police. We are the police. Let's try and solve this peacefully for now.
Officer in need of assistance. Suspect at large. Get on the ground.
Ma'am, please. We want to help you, but you need to lower that weapon.
Lieutenant is trying to maintain eye contact. I don't think it really matters what you say to her, because she doesn't seem to even, like, register what we're saying. Let's just talk, alright?
Disturbance reported. Authorized deadly force. Sector, take the shot. Big red key. Big red key.
You're not the police. We are the police.
Back up. Back up.
Lieutenant Double Refrigerator Harriet Dubois, 41st Precinct. This is my partner, Lieutenant Kitsuragi from the 57th.
No. I thought Mr. Moran. Gareth. Aggravated assault! Man down! Officers in pursuit!
Moran? I don't know any Moran or Gareth, so I don't know what she's talking about.
What's the situation, officer?
Why do you ask me? Why do you always rely on me in this situation, Skim?
Law enforcement compromised! Impersonating a police officer!
Oh, that's what you think is happening? Red and blue lights illuminate the spit flying everywhere.
Does she not believe you two are actually police officers?
We could show her our badge, but probably not gonna work. We really are cops. Look, my badge.
License and registration! License and registration! Come in, dispatch! Sector! Azimuth!
It's not a code, just disjointed words.
Yeah, no, I know.
She's losing it. One twitch and there would be blood.
We're just gonna have to go for it.
Here's the plan. Drop the multi-tool and immediately dart right. The noise will startle her, allowing you to close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist.
Break the wrist? You want me to, like, actually attack her?
A drop of sweat runs down your nose, and in it you see the Martinez Inlet, wrapped in the night. In the abandoned fish market, 3 figures standing in a spectacular light show.
Yes, us.
A large, loud woman is pointing an empty firearm at the other 2. She doesn't want to listen, or even to be heard.
An empty firearm? So you're saying there's no bullets in it? Ooh, you can be really ballsy, just be like, go ahead, pull the trigger. I dare you. How do I know it's empty, though? Kim, I'm almost certain there are no bullets in that gun.
Huh? My god, I think you're right.
Go ahead, pull the trigger, I dare you.
Suicide by cop! Split-second decision! Eat lead, scumbag!
In your peripheral vision, the lieutenant releases the half-squeezed trigger.
Good thing it was empty, because I would have died right there.
God, I almost blew her head off.
Lieutenant exhales loudly and uses his offhand to wipe his forehead.
What is this? This isn't police issue. Police weapons have bullets. This isn't real. Police guns always have bullets. What is this? Why did you sell me this?
The gun lands on the wooden planks and tears run down her scratched cheeks.
She looks devastated. Grab the gun, right now. This might be your only chance.
Yeah, of course.
No one ever cares anymore. Why would they treat me like this?
Her voice is growing fainter as she rocks back and forth. She belongs in an asylum, I think. We need to bring a straitjacket here.
Poor woman. We need to figure out what to do with her now.
I don't know, do they have asylums here?
Nobody's ever around. Nobody ever comes to visit me.
I'm very sorry this is how life turned out for you. Gently touch her shoulder. You tried to kill me! She did. What do you think is happening to her?
She's in a stupor. I've seen this before. God knows for how long. Could be days when they get like this.
The lieutenant replies, inspecting the catatonic woman standing in the dark. But why was she like this in the first place?
Honestly, I don't know. Dementia, probably. Dementia and Channel 8.
Channel
and
8.
loneliness.
Yes, this is what happens when you listen to too many cop shows on the radio. You're probably right. Loneliness. I guess there's cop shows. She does seem obsessed with cops.
There's a bit more to this than that. But right now, we need to decide what to do with her.
Should we try and touch her shoulder? I feel like maybe that wouldn't go too well. Let's try and be nice. I'm very sorry this is how life turned out for you.
Her scratched skin is warm to the touch, but the person inside doesn't even know you're there.
That's what I figured. Should we just arrest her?
I don't think there's any need for that. In her current state, and without the gun, she isn't really a threat to anyone.
I don't know about that. She's a threat to plenty of people, including herself. Like, she's a pretty large woman. She could still attack us. even with her bare hands. Plus, you don't know, she might be concealing like a knife or something. I don't think I agree with you, Kim.
We could let Titus know. This is a perfect problem for the local peacekeepers to handle. They might even know her family.
I guess. Wait, I was really hoping I can give her one of those station call slips. Yeah, Titus sounds like the man for the job. I don't want to endorse the Hardy Boys' inflated sense of self-worth. They're not cops, we are. I think we can just leave her like this, she'll be fine. I don't know, Titus is a nice guy and all, and the Hardy Boys, like, they try to do right by this neighborhood, it seems, but do they have the professional expertise to deal with, like, a crazy person? They might know who she is, I guess. Yeah.
Then we can ask him once we get back to the whirling. But we have to hurry, because it's late, and they might have already gone home.
True, they're probably gone by now.
But I think we are done here for now. Let's head out. This is done.
Please, leave the radio on.
As you turn to leave, the faintest of voices comes from her. It seems like a reflex, a half-remembered sentence.
She stands motionless, just a heap of clothes and flashes now. Maybe if you search her once more.
Search her? Oh, there it is. It's a tool. Equip this when times are most dire. Well, a Villiers 9mm pepper box pistol. It looks different than the one that Kim was using, I think. A 3-shot revolving barrel Villiers LaSalle pepper box. Typically assigned to officers of the RCM upon reaching the rank of sergeant. The butt of the gun is worn and the engraving on the side reads, Sunrise Parabellum. This is your gun, no doubt about it. And we have 2 bullets. I have a gun now.
Holding the gun feels natural and satisfying. It's like an extension of your arm, the polished wooden handle almost fusing into your palm.
I think my hand recognizes it.
It reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect, hoping you don't have to use it in vain. The sun was out in Jamrock. It was so long ago.
I guess you went in with the right attitude, you know, with fear and respect. That's how you should treat a weapon.
Sheathe your sidearm, officer. A serious law official, cop by the book, should know to only unholster their service weapon when using it is unavoidable.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I was gonna get a thought, and I did. Let me put on my little gardening gloves and see if I can search her.
The woman stands slumped. She looks catatonic under her mountain of RCM paraphernalia. Is one of those things a police cap?
Pick up the RCM cap.
She doesn't even flinch as you reach out and disentangle the familiar-looking lieutenant's cap from her mountain of RCM paraphernalia.
Oh, is that yours?
Is it?
It's hard to say. It's been so long since you wore yours.
Mine? No, it's ours, the RCM's. Where would it have been? I mean, it might be. Maybe. Probably. You know me.
It's your hat.
Okay, well, fine. I'm not gonna shake her, though. What does it look like? It does fit the rest of my outfit. +1 authority member of an organization. The cap is sturdy and comfortable and seems to retain its form very well. It fits you perfectly. The inside of it smells like cheap tobacco and typewriter ink. Feels familiar somehow. Perhaps it too is yours? Though how the pigs got it is a mystery. I mean, my clothes were kind of all over the place, right? All over the harbor, so she just picked it up somewhere, I guess. It's funny because you kind of get sets of items, right? Like, you start with your, like, little disco outfit. Then you have kind of like a Dick Mullen outfit. I guess if you wear this and then, like, you get your RCM patrol cloak, your RCM commander jacket, this. That's kind of like your cop outfit. If it wasn't for the gloves. This is my cop outfit. You can also wear it with the full jacket. I also have like the fallen outfit because you got the gloves, the windbreaker, I got the hat, got the pants, even have the shoes now. Like that, that's my... You get the full outfit. Is there like a shirt? I guess I'm just missing a fallen shirt. That's the only thing I don't have. Look at that fit. I'm going to the gym. But I like my basic outfit, which is my nice trench coat, and then my armor. Well, so we're just gonna leave her here. That doesn't seem very safe. Like, one of us should stay here with her, and then the other can go tell Titus. But I think it's too late now. I think Titus is probably gone from the whirling at this hour. Ah, they're fucking gone. Ask Titus Ida and his boys to take care of the pigs. It's their district, their mess, their responsibility. It's gonna have to wait until tomorrow morning. The kids have also gone to bed. I wanted to talk to the kids again, since we got that quest, but now they're gone to bed. There's not really much left we can do. I did have another book to read. This one, 16 Days of Coldest April.
In your hands, you hold 16 Days of Coldest April by Yekaterina Dahl. The cover image shows a row of concrete apartments above which span a black and white rainbow.
Feels heavy.
Indeed, the book is unusually heavy in your hands, as though the cover were lined with lead. It would do that in Grad.
How long is this book anyway?
You flip through the book. The pages are thinner than you realized, and the type quite small and tightly set. It's nearly 600 pages long. Real art is dense and difficult. If it didn't feel like you had to wrestle a suicidal bear to get through it, you weren't really reading.
Look at the back cover.
The back cover is dominated by a black and white photograph of the author.
What does she look like?
She can't be much older than her mid-30s in this photograph. And yet, from this cover, the eyes of a sad old woman stare back at you.
Start reading.
In cold, detached prose, the author describes a scene from one of the Yugograd riots in the 20s. Youths overturned motor carriages and set trash cans ablaze, while heavily armored guardsmen dash in and disperse them in a flurry of baton blows. As ethnic tensions run wild, a pair of young lovers meet each other on the street. Somehow, in the middle of all the chaos, they manage to lock arms and look into each other's eyes.
What happens next?
It would physically hurt you to keep reading. Are you sure?
Okay, the fact you say that means it's probably gonna actually physically hurt me, right? But we're gonna go to bed soon, and I think that heals me, so read 10 more pages.
They go through a brief and somewhat awkward love affair. And in the end, they betray each other and succumb to the absurdity of Gradian life. The man becomes a lens grinder, completely abandoning his former existence. He toils through the daily drudgery at the Lenka Polyfabricate. Happiness and fulfillment have eluded him his whole life. And in the end, he has nothing to do but dedicate himself to the craft.
And the woman?
She spends the next several decades standing at a conveyor in a Sosnovo fish processing plant. The smell of fish guts slowly seeps into her hair and skin, as every single one of her dreams dies, one by one.
Jeez, that's sad.
The memory of their short time spent together tortures the former lovers ceaselessly until the end of their days. Years pass in solitude, their bodies growing ever more decrepit.
This is terrible.
As life leaves their remains between the soil sheets, their final thoughts are filled with regret.
A fucking bummer. What the hell is that? I couldn't find anything on the boardwalk, so I don't know how you do that, and I couldn't go to the island either, so I guess I'll wait for like a chance to do that. This one we can do, this one we can do. Climb the ladder. Offer figurines. I couldn't really do this one either. So really the only thing I can do at this point is look for Ruby, so I guess it's finally time to try and get into the FELD building. Like, it's late at night, but let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Let's try and climb the ladder.
A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Some of the rungs are missing.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
Assess the situation.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and the peeling rust is razor sharp. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground? And you're 180?
180 seems about right.
Not to mention that the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Perhaps if you were to not climb the ladder. Instead, what if you were to do something more subtle?
Like what?
What if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder? Astral projection. Be open-minded about this.
Astral projection? What if I don't climb? What if I just teleport? Oh, this is something I'm gonna tell him. What if?
Teleportation is not a thing.
The lieutenant stares at you, stone-faced. Come on, Kim. Where's your adventurous spirit? Teleportation is a thing. Just needs a bit of concentration. Won't hurt to try. Where's your adventurous spirit, Kim?
This really has nothing to do with adventure. We are dealing with basic physics here.
Won't hurt to try.
Oh yes, it could hurt. A lot.
He is restraining himself from using a parental tone with you right now.
What the fuck? Savoir-faire, teleport to the roof, 72%. Saw Tiago climbing. Okay.
All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to is...
Do it.
Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
It's going to fade back and I'm just gonna be like on the ground dead because I tried to like jump and I just fell.
Okay, well, that's impressive, but...
Is it?
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
So I just climbed. Don't gloat, just stand there like a Samaran master.
You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed.
Isn't it impressive though?
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear,
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring with a backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here.
You could just climb too, Kim, if you weren't such a little bitch. So you can win a board game, but you can't climb up here with me? Huh. Some partner. The central support beam has been destroyed by artillery fire. Let's, should I equip my gun before going in there? She might be armed, but I don't know, let's just use the tool instead. Or the boombox. Oh boy, alright, let's go. So I need to open the door for him somehow. The glass is covered with grime and dust. You can barely see out. Oh. Another postcard. Martinez, 98. A faded picture postcard from the end of the last century shows Martinez as it was before the revolution. It's the height of summer. Rue de Saint-Ghislain is teeming with parasol-wielding bourgeoisie and wild pine flags buttress the walkway. Nothing is written on the back. Alright. I hope we don't run into her before... Okay, let's start by looking... Oh, there he is.
Two rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while.
Who's there?
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
I mean, I don't know where this door leads. It could have been leading to something else. Push the doors. You could have probably done
The
that
doors
yourself.
seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the two metal panels slide open with a creak.
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that.
You ready?
Yes. Time to investigate these passages. Let's move quietly and not make more sound.
Know what that was about?
Not running is a great way to do that.
Not running, okay. Let's not run then. Weird music down here. Antiquated office furniture last century, maybe? Brought down and forgotten so long ago. This collapse nearly sealed the basement. One can barely squeeze by. Oh. Right. Takes me down. Got some rats. This overturned table is covered in orange mildew, crawling with something. She's gonna be down here, isn't she? Old file folders in the cart, documents silvery with mold. A series of thick, dusty panes of glass.
This isn't just glass. These are old computation components.
These are computer components.
Yes, filament memories.
Oh.
From the time when wires were cast in glass, slides with an inlaid nervous system.
How'd they do that and why?
The how was a closely guarded secret. Something that was locked in safes in human heads across the river where they were manufactured. As to why, your fingers don't know.
Hey Kim, look. Old cybernetics.
So it is. I think it is used to form a single system, slotted in the wall.
Lieutenant tilts his head, watching the light glimmer on the glass. So this is all that remains of failed R&D?
The rest of the building seems to have been picked clean.
Could this be part of the failed playback experiment?
These? No. These are old filament memories. I hope you're not expecting to find a device here. You will be disappointed.
No, because I forgot it existed until now.
All you'll find here is pain.
Oh, good. Thanks. That's reassuring. Ooh. Enteri Solaris suit jacket. +1 suggestion? It's got a little flower on it. That's not bad. +1 suggestion. Dressed for the occasion. A muted brown suit jacket perfect for a day at the office or an evening at a cafe. The red rose at the bottom of the left breast pocket is slowly wilting. Oh, in the beam of the flashlight, a crevice in the wall. Hello. Oh. Stale fabric, smell and dust. No one slept here in months, maybe years. Revolutionary propaganda on the bunk bed, ancient flyers and brochures. These pots and plates are full of dust and spider webs. The same slit window you saw from the outside.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. A plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spider web in the lower left corner of the portrait.
Brush the dust off the portrait?
Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand, grains sticking to the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder.
It's Krasmazov. What a troublemaker he was.
Yes. Looks like some latter-day radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago.
A long time ago? How long? What's with all these secret weapons caches and secret bunkers? Maybe I should move in here. Seems cozy. Could it be connected to the Mazov bust we found in the students' room? How long ago?
Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted.
What's with all these secret weapons?
We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
For sure. Maybe I should move in here, seems cozy.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case.
I'll give you one thing, Kim, you've got a focus and you won't let go of it. No matter what buffoonery or tomfoolery I'm up to, you always bring it back to the investigation. Could it be connected to the Mazov bust in the students' room?
Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff.
Could someone have stepped through here recently?
You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
He looks at the dust. You know, what have we got here? Oh, a revolutionary hat. +1 to Mazovian Socioeconomics, Friendly Neighborhood Communard. I don't think I've gotten this thought. Because when I first was offered the communist thought very early in the playthrough, I thought, oh, it's gonna slot me into this, like, path now. I thought maybe there were like a few different paths and like you were locked into it. So I think I refused it at the time. Anushanka with the Mazovian logo, a pair of deer antlers on its silvery white front. Your ears feel cuddled and cared for by the state. These hats are very comfortable, especially in the winter. That's kind of what I wear in the winter. There we go. So it gives me the thought.
This hat is so soft, so warm. It wraps around your head, and your mind tingles with all manner of socio-economic theory.
This is a Nushanka, right?
Kraz Mazov would have worn this Yushenka. Mazov knew where to cook those thoughts. That's why it bears a Mazovian logo. Glory to the revolution, comrade. Whether you like it or not, wearing this hat has made you more communist.
I mean, it's just a hat that makes sense in cold weather, really. Like, it's probably much the best hat for cold weather. I don't know why it's associated with communism, but anyways. So it didn't give me a thought. I thought just having the piece of clothing unlocked the thought, but I guess it doesn't. What's the +1 for then? Do you just like research it faster, maybe? Interesting. I'm trying my best not to let my like muscle memory hit the run button. It's very tempting and I'm trying not to run. I don't know if it actually matters, because we're still making some noise just walking around here. Boot prints in the sand. One of the soles appears more worn than the other. And it's going to the right, so that's where she is. Because of the fucking like sandpaper on her, the pedal of her truck. There's something in the air, an unnatural buzzing. Really. Nothing would surprise me at this point. The tunnel collapsed. You'll have to find another way around. Okay. Could run into her at any moment. It's getting louder, the buzzing sound. Yeah, what could this buzzing be?
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell.
Lieutenant, do you feel something?
No. What do you mean?
A pain, a strange tingling, a ghost.
I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh.
You really don't feel anything?
No, but you are the sensitive one.
That's true.
It's not a quib. The situation is dangerous.
Yeah, I saw the footprints too.
Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully.
Well, so we're looking to arrest her, right? I mean, she's our main suspect, and at this point we haven't run into any other suspects, so I have to assume she's the killer. But we should also question her, and so, like, I haven't really given much thought to what the end game of this game is gonna be, not, like, since a few episodes ago when we were more, like, focused on the investigation. I've been doing a lot of just side shit since. But, so we're looking for Ruby, who is presumably the killer. And at the same time, this Crenel tribunal is supposed to be going on, where they're looking for information on who killed the mercenary, like they want to blame someone. So if we arrest Ruby and Crenel then shows up and they're like, is she the one? What do we do? Because if we say we can't give her to you, we're going to bring her back to the RCM to face like actual justice, or the closest thing they have to justice, then they might attack us because Crenel wants to take care of it themselves. But then if we just give her up to Crenel, we're just not really doing our job either. So I assume we're gonna have a few different choices, and I'm not really sure yet what I'm gonna do. I guess we'll cross that bridge once we get there. What do you mean?
Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over.
I'm not worried about Wild Pines, but I'm worried about Crenel.
Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
We found out Everard's plan to take the harbor. Maybe we should tell Joyce about it?
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but...
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
How bad? But I talked to her and I didn't have the option of giving her this information, so... How bad do you think things could get?
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
He smiles in the dark.
Let's try not to worry, he thinks. If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
I mean, I get that logic, but... I mean, it's like when anything goes wrong in your life, you know, it's always after the fact where you get regrets and you're like, oh, I could have done something different, like I should have done that, or I should have done that, and... I guess things you can't predict, it's true that you can't really do anything about, but in this case we can't predict quite a few different scenarios that would come out of this. What do you think is waiting for us there?
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise.
Okay.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking.
I haven't been running.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
Are you saying that in a meta way, as in like in an endgame way? I'm going to make a save just in case like I accidentally triggered the endgame, because, you know, there might be other things to do. It says you haven't been sneaking, but I haven't been running either. Some money. Not sure what good is money at this point. More money. A concrete pipe buried in sand and dust. So what could be making this buzzing? It feels strange. Maybe she has some kind of machine? Or like, is it...
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice.
There she is, it's Ruby. She does have red hair, so it's not blue or purple. Alright, well, now do you feel it, Lieutenant?
It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
So much for the element of surprise.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse.
Says the shadowy figure by the machine.
Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
I'm trying to remember everything we know about Ruby at this point, and like, Titus told us she was worried about meeting us, and by us I thought she meant, oh, the police, but no, she meant Harry specifically. And I guess like our reputation precedes us, but I don't know.
The voice coming through the whirlwind of pain is not malicious. She doesn't want to hurt you, but she has to.
What is she doing? It has to be this machine.
Doesn't wish to hurt you. Not according to your ear canals. Wait, no, not even your ear canals. This is going directly into your neural pathways.
I mean, I am covering my ears on the animation. Don't cover them. Oh, cool.
That's an awful decision. Why would you not want to shield yourself from it? It's an entirely new type of experience.
Because you said...
way worse than all the previous ones.
You said it was going straight into my neural pathways.
Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
You're under arrest. What's happening to me? Are you gonna kill me too? Help, Kim, help. My brain's on fire. Are you gonna kill me too?
No, I'm not going to fucking kill you. If that had been my plan, you'd be dead already. All things considered, I'm being pretty reasonable here. I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
A pale latitude compressor?
The explosion of static you're hearing. It's the ULAN frequency, blasted from that pale emitter that Angus mentioned.
I saw your equations. It's the ULAN frequency. Fat Angus said you had a pale emitter. You're using one of those devices you use to send signals through the pale on me. Let's try and cover your ears.
You should probably check on Kim. That's what good partners do.
Alright, look back at Kim.
Right behind you, officer.
Eyes closed, the lieutenant is doubled over. He's still alive and breathing.
A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale, literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
Okay, I would love to have a nice conversation about this. If you could turn this thing off.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
It's gonna do some fucking brain damage. He gestures towards something with great effort.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
That's all fine and good. Can you stop it?
She's been holed up in here for a while with no one to talk to. Keep her talking, and you just might get an opportunity to break loose.
How did you get your hands on this thing?
I built it myself.
She nods toward her torture device.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah, way beyond.
She studies her death ray and the law officials trapped in it. Have you experienced the compressor yourself?
Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through.
Will I stay like this forever?
No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like waking out of a very confusing dream.
442455790.
At least we got music. I love the idea of sending out prime numbers into the pale, because it's almost like you're trying to bring order into chaos, like you're bringing structure into nothingness, and that kind of like creates something. I don't know, it makes sense in a weird way. This is all great, but let's talk about the man who was killed.
Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not cops, and of herself merely as prey.
Could you just turn it down so I can ask you something?
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
3, 6, 1, 8, 9, 2, 8, 1.
You're looking for a deal on mattress.
Speed! At Ember!
I mean, if we're able to have this conversation through this, couldn't we also move? Like, couldn't we also, like, take a few steps forward and try and get to her? I feel like being able to talk is harder than being able to move.
Turn this.
The lieutenant clutches his head, grimacing.
God damn it.
She regards you and Kim with sudden sympathy.
Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
She steps reluctantly out of the shadows. The pain lessens.
The gun she's carrying is a 2-barreled front loader, not like the murder weapon.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. Just keep her talking, and you'll get through this.
Ooh, we can try and destroy the machine. Tool equipped? Well, I don't have my gun, though. How did you know we were coming?
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while.
By hiding bullets under floorboards?
So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised.
So somehow she knew about Harry, specifically. And like, as much of a fuck-up as Harry is in this game, upon waking up from being drunk and stuff, he has a history of like solving a record number of cases, and like, I guess he was a very good detective. Like, he's a double lieutenant refrader, and when he's not being alcoholic, he's actually a really good policeman, so I guess it would make sense that some people... But that's the funniest thing with fiction. They always have, like, famous police or, like, famous detectives. But, like, in real life, can you think of any, like, known police officer? Like, policemen don't become celebrities. Actors and, like, athletes, maybe, but never law enforcement. So, then again, she is dealing with like the mob and like in drug trafficking, so it makes sense that they would be more familiar with law enforcement, I guess.
Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed.
She didn't rat you out, by the way, the washerwoman.
So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back.
As opposed to the other knives she's finding there now. Hardy for one.
Preparing for the worst?
I was. Before I caught you in the pale latitude compressor. I'm fine now.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit. It was dark in the shack. The waves outside had calmed down. She looked at the loaded gun, then she cracked the barrel open and took the bullet out. Not today.
But why not just run? Like, why even consider suicide when you could just, like, leave the city, leave the country? Alright, did you shoot Lily?
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you.
So you claim you didn't do it. Well, if that's true, that changes everything, because that's like what our whole case is built on. So far, things did seem to point to you.
Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first.
You're right, Klasi was the first to share her suspicions. When I threatened to arrest her, Klasi broke. She told me everything. It's not actually when we threatened to arrest her, was it? I feel like she told us even before that. I can't quite remember like the fine details now. But I guess by saying this, we're kind of protecting Klasi, because it sounds like she did it under duress.
Oh. Well, I guess I always knew she was a survivor above all else.
She smiles sadly.
But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me?
Your first guess wasn't entirely off. Your own boys told us you were on the coast. Titus told me. Took some convincing. Who told us she was on the coast? I think it was Titus, right? We would have come to explore here anyways. I don't know what it means by your first guess wasn't entirely off. Glacier? What first guess? I guess Titus?
Titus and his boys, man. They told us you were on the coast.
Even now, Kim is a paragon of professionalism. He is trying to make a clean cut of telling her she was betrayed.
Well, fuck. Those guys liked me, I know it. If this is what happens to people whom people like...
A dull despair is creeping into her voice.
How the fuck do the rest of you get by?
Wait, wasn't it you who called me the human can opener? It's not personal. I opened them up. I do it by asking questions, and I have some for you. Honestly, I don't know how I do it. I just stumbled in here. Can you please explain this shit to me?
Like what? I already told you I didn't do it.
She adjusts her grip on the gun. Well then, who did?
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
Okay, so we have a lot of things we can say here. Can we... There's a conclude option, so I'm guessing we can ask all of these. Would you say that Lily was a likable person?
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types.
You don't feel sympathy for Marks? It's hard work. There's nothing more personal that you had against him? Perhaps his way with women? Did you feel protective of the Union?
You think I was envious of his conquests? Look, pussy's not a problem for me. And definitely not a reason to off someone.
Is it that you felt protective of the Union?
Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here.
She didn't hate him, okay?
Okay.
I'm listening.
Do you have an alibi for when Lily was shot?
Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon you.
There were 10 minutes they couldn't really account for. They did see you left to take a really long leak, 15 minutes.
You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time.
No one takes a 15-minute leak.
Look, fuck you, man. I might also have stopped by the bar.
Our investigation has shown that 15 minutes was just enough time to commit the murder.
Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain.
Play pinball much? Look, there's a secret way from the first floor of the whirling to the roof.
Don't know it, but also...
She frowns, studying your face.
Evaluating your competence as a police officer.
The shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we would have all heard it downstairs.
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
That's true, I guess. I never really thought about that. I just figured, you know, there's music in the bar, there's a lot going on. Could have covered the sound. But if it's not that, it has to be a sniper. It can't be a sniper, can it? It's too far. Do silencers not exist in this world? The pain stops him from finishing the sentence.
That didn't go super well. You've got to lay something better on her.
Do you have a gun?
And?
I see it's a front loader. Do you have another gun somewhere? Do you collect guns, maybe old rifles? Where'd you get it?
The gun store.
What gun store?
Trigger Happy Jacks.
Really? Trigger?
What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal.
I see it's a front loader. Do you have another gun somewhere?
Sure don't.
A breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
Do you collect guns, maybe old rifles?
No, they're not practical. Break too often.
There's other evidence I want to ask you about.
Yeah, evidence.
You like Lazia a lot?
I considered her a good friend, yeah.
Are you a girl liker? Is peeping one of your hobbies? But you want it to be more than just friends.
Oh, so that's where you were going with this.
She said you wanted to run away with her.
That's a very sentimental way of putting it. We both had pasts we didn't want to catch up with us. And we enjoyed listening to music together. Why not go on a road trip?
The lieutenant watches her expectantly, occasionally shaking from the pain.
Okay, fine. I was into her. Claudia was into me too for a time, I know it. We even fooled around once. And yeah, after that I thought maybe we could make a go of it.
Hold on, Glazy only likes truly buff men. I don't think that's true. But I'm kind of curious to ask about it.
She does know how to pick 'em.
Then what happened?
She rejected me with some wishy-washy bullshit about how she was confused because she felt so close to me and valued my friendship so much, and how guilty she felt for leading me on. I knew that wasn't the whole story, but thought, fine, I'll take it and move on.
No ill will there. It wasn't a problem for her.
I don't want to ask that. That's so like, you a girl like her? Glazy said you got very angry when she started seeing Lily threaten her.
Yeah. One time when we'd both been drinking, I said some heated things about how dangerous her patterns with men were. I was a little worried she'd blow it out of proportion in her head. All the drugs she was doing can make you feel like you're living in a DeLorean tragedy.
And despite everything, you helped her by staging the lynching?
Yeah. The girl seemed terrified. The merc was beyond caring what happened to his mortal coil. It was a no-brainer. Go ahead. It's your body.
And mine too, he thinks. But keep on. This must be done.
Do you like to hang out on rooftops?
Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna.
What's so great about her antenna?
It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies.
Oh.
That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival.
Our central sensor.
Come in.
Is that the only reason you hung out on the roof?
The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Claudia.
So you're sure you didn't shoot the merc from the roof?
Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar.
You're running drugs for the Union. I've been through your lorry.
So, Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too. Never trust a musician.
He didn't sell you out.
That really comes as a blow to her.
No, he didn't. I found my own way in.
Okay, great. You got into my lorry on your own. What now? You're going to arrest me for drug trafficking?
I mean, I guess technically we're supposed to, right?
Beneath it, she's relieved Tommy didn't betray her.
You're a criminal. I can't trust anything you say. That's not true. You had a financial incentive to kill the merc.
Man, it's to get away from all that murderous shit that I left Jamrock, my previous employer, for the Union.
The lieutenant is unable to articulate this question. You're not built like me, Kim.
She deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for. You might be able to find this out later.
Well, isn't it, La Puta Madre?
I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This gun has only been used for self-defense against serious scum.
She turns the knob down just a millimeter.
There. It's going to be easier to reach the machine now.
But you're threatening us with it.
Based on what I've heard about you, you are serious scum.
Really? I haven't done anything that bad.
There's a sinister note in her voice. Even with the gun and the compressor, she's afraid of you.
Okay, let's take a step back.
Yeah? Where?
More questions before doing anything.
Who killed the merc if it wasn't you?
How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio.
She's called the Instigator.
Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late, listening in on the conversations crisscrossing Martinez.
I mean, her killing him made perfect sense. Because, like, she had the motive, she had the means. Like, he's a mercenary against the Union. He's also with Glazier. Could have been, like, jealousy. There have been a number of reasons, but if it's not her, then who profits from this? I mean, it could be Everett lied to us and Everett arranged to have the guy killed, because he's certainly been profiting from it with his war. But... or it did Wild Pines do it, like what would they gain from this happening? Because they want the whole Union to get destroyed? It would be like this huge conspiracy. I guess it's possible. But like it's an inside job from Wild Pines.
Police radio? You've been following the case?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in Clausia's room, lying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while.
What happened Sunday night? Tell me your version.
She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity.
It's okay. We just want to...
He struggles to finish the sentence.
All right, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Clausia comes in, all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her.
Did she also seem high to you?
Oh yeah, super. But I didn't think too much of it at first. I'd seen her party hard before.
Lazia said you knew something was wrong immediately.
No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her. But no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
Lazia said you seemed to have a plan prepared when you got there. She found it weird you came up with a plan so quickly.
What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea.
Really?
She looks shaken. She wasn't surprised to be ratted out, but framed.
Oh man, I feel like when we come back to the hotel, Clausia's gonna be gone.
Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy Boys.
Showerhead, resourceful. That's bad that she'd be so calm.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed.
Do you think she killed Lady herself?
As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried this lynching might lead to...
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going, fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me.
Yeah, she feels betrayed because now, even if war happens, she's like, well, these fuckers sold me out anyways. If you didn't kill him, why hide?
I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
What? Me?
So this is what she was scared to tell Titus. This cop.
What do you mean, La Puta Madre agent?
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
What? This is news to me.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. Fucking hell. And why me? You hear through the white noise.
I work for the mob?
It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded.
Who's everyone? How do you know this?
Everyone in Jamrock. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up in here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you?
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Tell me, what's my name? If you know that about me, you must know my name. Well, I already know my name. I've heard of La Puta Madre. He's dangerous, right?
Is that a joke or a threat? I'm guessing both.
I'm sorry, I know I'm supposed to know all about this, but I lost my memory recently.
Yeah, sure.
She doesn't believe you.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough.
What did you do to this madre anyway?
You've been to my lorry. You think the biggest player in Jamrock appreciates competition? And now I have Harry Can Opener in my lair. Fucking Titus.
Wait, I thought you worked for La Puta Madre.
She's not going to change her mind that easily. She still perceives you as a threat. Wait, one thing, possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something.
Oh. When I came into town, was there anyone with me?
Yeah, you had your death squad with you.
What?
What happened to them anyway?
Who are you talking about? I don't know what happened to them.
Sure you do. I bet they're just outside waiting. I guess I'll take my chances.
My death squad? What the? Who the hell are you talking about? Who was in the squad?
Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had 2 guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either.
What else can you tell me?
One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying.
A blonde chipper guy? A brooding something or other? That could be Jean. I mean, I guess Jean, Judith, and then who would be the other one?
That sound about right?
Satellite Officer Vicmere looks out of the window grimly, then puts his coffee down and turns to Patrol Officer Minot. We can either take a room here in the Whirling or go home for today. Let's go home, Jean. Nothing's going to happen today, she responds quietly. Jean takes his blonde wig off. Call Heidelstam. He can give us a ride.
I think I know them, Darren Martinez.
Friction, lock, set.
Don't leave me here. Please leave.
Alright, so where I'm a corrupt cop working for the mob, and then like my own squad knows about it and they came here with me, but then they came with what? Where's their car? And like, what have they been waiting here for? Because like I went on this bender, I like drank a bunch, lost my memory, and now they're like, well, what now? What do we do about this guy? But who's the other guy though, the muscular guy?
Fantastic. I've got to get on the road. Then you can go find your friends. Unless you have anything pressing to ask me.
Do you know about the bunker next door?
What bunker?
The communist hideout back there.
Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. But I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond to...
Your voice trails off into white noise in your head. Feels like an aneurysm approaching. Ow. I'm running out of fucking healing.
Keep calm. Breathe in. After the pain recedes, it's a little clearer.
Okay, so it's at 92% now. Or I cannot destroy compressor. I mean, this is not something you should have. +1 tool equip, +1 nudged it during drug talks. Momentary window of clarity.
You did it. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell, but...
I mean, I guess it's a nice, non-lethal weapon, but she should not have access to this. You okay, Kim?
All good, officer. Be careful.
She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles.
Oh, fuck it.
She puts the barrel of the gun into her mouth. What are you doing? Convince her to put the gun down. Go ahead then, let her do it. Oh, Jesus.
She's truly desperate. She thinks she has no other options. You need to give her options.
What options?
You know.
I mean, if truly she didn't do it, I guess we have no reason to arrest her, but then she's also been betrayed by everyone she knows, so like I guess she doesn't really want to. Maybe I can still talk her out of it?
This is how you talk her out of it. It's the only scenario in which she lives.
I wish I could just let you go. I have to follow protocol. Just walk away.
She stares at you, frozen, the gun still in her mouth, eyes filled with dark intensity. Then something shifts in her. Gratitude, doubt. She's still ready to go. Her neck and shoulders relax, and her grip on the gun loosens.
You don't have to do this. You're not cornered. I'm letting you go. Just fucking go, okay? Before I change my mind. You don't have to do this.
Day of miracles. I'll take it.
She pulls the gun out of her mouth, eyes still fixed on you, then she turns her gaze on the tunnel behind you.
She runs past you, then past the lieutenant, and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel.
Good call.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I would have done the same had I not been incapacitated.
What if we just let the murderer go? I think she didn't do it. I think she did it, but I didn't want her to die. I guess she didn't do it.
Her tent. We should check it out.
He points to the back of the cavern. Boy. Man, I'm like out of health charges. I hope I can find some health charges in her stuff because I'm very low. Ruby's gone. So what was that about me working for the mob?
Yes?
You don't have anything to say about that, Kim? Oh, it leads into the water. Dark water trails into the distance. There is no way out. Oh, thank God. Thank God for that. Some Truman. I think they knew. They put that there because they know you're probably running out at this point. Cooking utensils. She has prepared herself porridge with bananas. Yummy. 8 real.
The plain red tent stands by dispassionately. It was pitched by practiced hands. She's used to camping out.
Let's look inside.
The tent looks old, but well maintained. In the darkness of the tent, a rolled up sleeping bag, cooking utensils, some books, and a kerosene lamp. It reeks of cigarettes.
Shine your flashlight on the books.
Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another, a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines.
See anything?
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. It's not a magazine. It's a leather notebook.
A notebook?
You pocket the worn brown leather journal. A trusted friend left behind.
We should read this immediately. Like, right now.
Yes. We should, Kim. A well-loved journal with a brown leather cover and the brand name Schneller embossed on the back seems to have served as a loyal friend to a lonely traveler.
A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket.
Examine the cover.
It's made of full-grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name. Schneller. This was important to her when it was still hers.
I mean, it's probably still important, but she didn't want to bother getting it before leaving. Unwind the strap.
The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages have been filled.
Study the handwriting.
The large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently.
Look through the pages.
It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections, all dated.
How convenient for us.
It's good she left in a hurry. We could learn a lot from this.
What kind of logistics?
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information, quantities, directions.
For the drug trade, I guess.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
What are the diagrams of?
Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape.
Anything personal?
Short wry observations of people and places. Probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through some difficult decisions. There are a few passages with many questions in them. Staff issues. Always tough on the leadership. You smell traces of betrayal.
How far back do the entries go?
The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable.
What did she write the day Lily died?
Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. But that's another matter entirely.
Except?
You have no idea what she means. These are personal notes. Don't expect to understand all of it.
Anything about La Puta Madre?
That name isn't mentioned as far as you can tell.
No mention of La Puta Madre.
What about this M? Could this be La Puta Madre? Here, March 9th and March 15th.
He points at the page you're staring at. Read the entry.
Great. M's peon is coming to town, no doubt to investigate the lynching. But also, I feel it in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head while I'm napping in my lorry or on a smoke break. Well, I won't stick around just to twist my own neck by constantly looking over my shoulder.
A notebook and like a journal is a great narrative tool, you know, to have you know what they were thinking. But like, it's so like you would never write this. Like there's someone is coming to kill me. I'm just gonna write in my little journal, well, I'm not gonna stick around here until they kill me. It's like it's so contrived.
Then again, isn't that what I've been doing ever since I got the call? The call? Did M call her personally? Why? Were you supposed to find her, even apart from the investigation then? On M's request? No, you wouldn't do something like this. This must be a mistake.
Well, apparently I work for the guy.
You didn't follow through. You should have shot her in the head.
This is a coincidence. I would never kill people for a mob boss.
The thought steadies your nerves. The journal stops shaking in your hand.
Read the entry from March 12th.
Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all, but I don't know when I'll be able to leave, or if I'll be ratted out. They will rat me out, of course. I've made it a point to believe in the best in people, the boys, for example. But experience tells me.
Well, to be fair, they only ratted her out because they actually thought she killed him.
Did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people, they'd take measures to protect themselves. Even I know that. Economic measures, first of all. Gotta make a living, right? I can still hear his voice in the receiver. Taste the plastic. The entry ends abruptly. The first entry, short, staff issues. Always tough on the leadership. You smell traces of betrayal. Nothing on... You have no idea what she means. Nothing. You have no idea what she means. These are personal notes. That name...
What about this M?
Great. Then again, the call, were you supposed... You didn't follow through. The thought steadies. Been holed up. Did M... The entry ends abruptly.
What's the most recent entry?
The most recent entry is from today. It reads, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road. Man, I was really looking forward to winning.
It looks like she might have been framed.
The lieutenant taps on the page.
That would be a first, or a fourth. But who's counting, he thinks. Very rarely does anyone actually get framed.
If she didn't do it, then maybe it's good that we didn't catch her.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. We have other reasons to arrest her.
Well, I mean, it's that or she would have killed herself.
Besides, I'm not sure her life as a fugitive is going to be much better than we does. Especially if she has problems with the Madre.
Well, apparently it doesn't matter because even the police works for this guy. Am I really a Puta Madre agent?
No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure.
Then why would she say that? Then who do you think killed the merc?
Classy was the one who pointed the finger at Ruby. Perhaps she was trying to steer us away from herself, or...
But no one heard the shot.
Maybe she had an accomplice. Either way, we need to keep an eye on her. One thing is for certain. We have business back in the whirling and rags. Questions to ask. We should get to it.
Everyone's gone by now. I guess we should go to bed and then...
Ratan! Now is the time!
What? Time for what?
Oh, you will see.
Feels like the tie is rubbing itself against your chest like a cat in heat. Ew.
First the spirits! The blue medicinal spirits! Grab the bottle and uncork it! It is time to unleash the other world!
Wait, right now? Ruby's gone. I don't really think there's anything to celebrate here.
Hush, hush, Bratan! Now is not the time to celebrate. Now is the time to get ready! Trust me on this! This is what it's all been building towards! It's gonna be off the hook! Off all hooks!
You're not gonna make me drink, are you? Slowly uncork the blue medicinal spirit?
The bottle opens with a silent, mysterious hiss. The fumes rising from its mouth are as crisp as the northern winds, howling somewhere, lashing the boardwalk with brine and rain. An ancient warmth crawls under your skin.
Now, Bratan, take me off!
I didn't know I could do that.
Bratan! Have I ever lied to you? Just take me off!
The necktie tugs encouragingly at your neck. Okay.
Your fingers manage to undo the oily knot, and the necktie slides off. It looks so frail sitting there in your hand, weighing almost nothing.
Now what?
Now, put me in the bottle!
Why? Begone, foul necktie. Finally, I rid myself of you. Why?
Trust me! Just trust me! You and I are gonna have so much fun it should be illegal!
I suspect that it might be.
Just put me in the bottle, Bratan! I'm not gonna let you down! You and I are like the same person!
Okay.
As the necktie slides into the purifying liquid, large stains of grease rise off from it and float to the surface. There, they quickly dissolve and disappear completely.
Gross. Kim's gonna be like, what the hell are you doing?
Cleansed by the blue spirit fire of 98.7% pure alcohol.
That's...
The fabric looks almost new again. No longer like a disgusting worm of the lower intestine, but like a colorful and deadly poisonous reef snake of the Insulindian Ocean.
So what next?
The necktie floats in the bluish liquid with almost unearthly grace.
Necktie?
There is silence.
Okay. I'm gonna put it away.
The lieutenant has been observing you quietly all this time.
Spirit bomb? Excuse me?
He's struggling to keep silent, but finally seems to give up.
I've got to ask, what are you doing?
I don't really know, but I'm eager to find out. In my family, you put a piece of clothing in some hard liquor and drink it for good luck. It's silly, but no harm done, right? Okay, Kim, I didn't want to tell anyone, but my necktie has been talking to me lately. Mind your own business, Binoclard. I don't really know, but we'll find out.
That makes two of us. Let's not waste any more time under this boardwalk. We need to clear this all up, somehow.
Spirit bomb? Oh. It's like a Molotov cocktail. I get it. Equip this when times are most dire. Your spirit guide to the party scene, the horrific necktie is floating serenely in the blue medicinal spirit. As it is still 90% alcohol, this necktie cocktail is extremely flammable and should be kept far away from an open flame. What are we going to need this for? It's fucking Molotov cocktail? When am I gonna know when to equip these things? Like the gun and the cocktail? I mean, I guess if we get attacked, but am I even gonna get a chance to change like what I'm holding? I guess I'm gonna be throwing a Molotov cocktail at someone. That's gonna suck. It's gonna suck for that person. Well, it's 2 o'clock. Be ready, Bratan. Alright, I'm ready. Are you la puta madre espion? Ruby said you were a notoriously corrupt cop. La puta madre espion. That's why she was scared of you. When you get the chance, call your station to find out more, if you dare. And return to the Whirling in Rags. After the whole Instigator debacle. Someone there has things to answer to. But it's too late, right? Because it's 2 a.m, so maybe we should just sleep? Alright. I guess I'm gonna go to sleep and we can take care of that tomorrow morning.
I'm afraid we don't have time for rest stops right now, officer.
God damn it.
We should really get back to the whirling.
Locked myself into the endgame, didn't I? Oh, and I can't fast travel either. Oh, it's about to fucking go down. Okay, let's just equip the shit. I feel like we're about to get into some bad shit. Although, should I go and talk to Joyce about this? I mean, she's really given me no reason not to trust her so far. But like, I don't know, because the whole thing with the Union is like, maybe it's a good thing, you know, if the Union takes over. Everard, like I don't know, he's sleazy, but like, is it better for Martinez if the Union separate themselves from Wild Pines? But like, the thing is, Kim, it did say like he's not a fan of me sharing information, but he said maybe something useful could come out of it, so like, I don't know, is it actually gonna matter?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
She pets her wet raincoat.
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water around you.
I could use a coat like that, the rain is freezing.
Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water. Almost magically. The company makes them for offshore platform personnel. Very sturdy. What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day.
Can I even tell him?
Oh?
Oh, ma'am, this whole thing is a takeover. This is not Everett related, but I tracked down a suspect. Mr. Everett helped me find my gun. Should you tell Joyce? I don't know. I mean, Kim did say he's not a fan of, like, sharing this information, but he also said maybe something good can come out of it. She's not really given me any reason not to trust her so far. I feel like the game is going to have some twist where like someone has betrayed us. I feel like someone's going to turn on us. Is it Joyce? Is it Glazier? Someone that until now has seemed helpful and nice, I feel like is going to turn on us. I don't think it's going to be Titus because he started hostile. It's not going to be Everett because that would be too obvious. Is it Joyce? Is it Glazier? Is there like someone else at play here? And I also kind of agree with what Everett is doing.
A takeover?
Yes, it's not a strike. You aren't being let in because there's nothing to negotiate. The Union is taking the terminal.
If they're taking it...
She looked toward the colorful mountain of crates like toy blocks rising above Martinez.
Green livery, changing into red, blot by blot. Like a cancer of the blood, metastasizing.
Then we're talking about a war. Evrart needs to let me into the harbor at once. We need to talk about this.
He's ready for a war, they all are. The war is their goal. I told you before, Evrart has always wanted this to escalate. I can ask him to let you in. He's not gonna listen to me. Yeah.
An insane goal. Cronell has 1,000 men on their payroll. The next batch will be a platoon of 20 men and a gunship. The one after that, 100.
I've seen the Union's forces. They are better organized than these mercenaries. They also have the support of the people of Revachol West. It will take more than Cronell to wipe them out. Wild Pines will need to send more and better equipped men. Make no mistake,
Not saying that you should.
I am sure you have the money. The question is, how many years and how many lives are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah.
What do you suggest I do?
First, will this affect your decision-making process?
Everything affects the decision-making process, Detective.
Fair.
Officer?
The look on the lieutenant's face conveys uncertainty. He doesn't even sound angry.
For once, I don't seem to know what the right thing to do is.
It's not the RCM's job to make these decisions. The workers should have the harbor. Cut off the snake's head. Everard's pushing all this. It's a bluff, call it. Have them open fire and see how long they last. Bring in everything you have and wipe them from the face of the earth. It's apocalypse o'clock, time to commence the gloaming. I wish there was a disco option. I mean, I feel like it's really not my job to make this decision. If you start a war, a lot of people are going to die for this. So probably the workers should just have the harbor.
Do you think it's within my authority to give it to them? Do you think I can control the board and the shell-shocked mercenaries they've sent?
So what are you going to do?
What will I do?
She says, slowly looking around.
Her arms fall to her sides. Her spine relaxes.
Did I ever tell you how they discovered this Isola? During our reality lowdown?
The wind blows, waves crash in distance. She crosses her arms and asks, "You said you would one day."
It may be the only break we've ever caught as a species. The last one for 400 years.
Why?
The nations who colonized this Isola called theirs Muindi, the world. It was all they knew, all they thought would be. That there would be something more was a gamble, akin to another world, or life after death. The Pale was thought to be impregnable, perpetual. Irene la Navigateur, the Queen of Suren, sent 8 expeditions, one after the other, into the mass at the edge of the world. 5 of the crews did not return. 2 did, but had lost their minds.
Each of those expeditions would have been led by an admiral. Sounds like a purge. Like she was purging her political rivals.
Sounds political.
There was no precedent for such an undertaking. People thought she was punishing the admirals, or had gone mad, or both. Until after years of trial and error, and the development of a strict psychological regime imitating the creation process of poetry.
Called Volta Doma, or Return from the Sea.
The 8th expedition returned sane and intact. They told of a new continent of matter. They told the Queen and her counselor, Dolores Day, that the Pale had begun to condense, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute.
So, but like, was there really no one on this continent? Was there no humans there? No people? It was just animals?
Slowly raining down until it formed a vast ocean.
The air is cold and scented with petrichor. There are rain circles on water all around. Humidity crawls up your back like a piano trill.
Put your hand in the rain.
So does the lieutenant. His mouth is slightly open as he looks to the sky. The droplets feel warm, like spring rain.
This ocean?
The phenomenon has never again been encountered. For a time, the crew thought they were experiencing a hallucination. the mass hand proclaimed, Lancielinde, Lancielinde, the signal to wake up.
Wait, what? The pail had begun to condense, slowly raining down until it formed a vast ocean.
But they could not. They were sane and conscious, as islands began to appear on the horizon. There are 78,000 uninhabited islands in the Insulindian archipelago, officer.
That's a lot.
The freckled face of God.
You've thought it a million times.
After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again.
A total shift in human comprehension of reality. On the second day, a great skua was shot down above the flagship Lysergique. The bird was preserved and brought back, along with pollen. 4 years later, the Queen's Counsellor was proclaimed Her Innocence Dolores Day, the elected world spirit. The age of humanism, internationalism, and parliamentary rule followed. We were high.
Leaving us here.
On Caillou, the Pebble, the largest of the fertile, uninhabited islands of the northeast Insulindian archipelago. 4 centuries and 2 revolutions later.
It's pretty fascinating history. So that's why they made her innocence, because she was the one who suggested sending out like expeditions into the Pale. That's so insane. Like, can you imagine? I mean, that must be what it was like for the early explorers, right? Like, you send ships out into the ocean and you're like, probably you're just gonna fall off the face of the earth and there's gonna be nothing there. Like, you're basically just sending people to their deaths. But then, because of scientists being like, no, the earth is a sphere, and then like if you go in this direction, maybe there's something there, and then like eventually they run into a new continent. And of course, the continent already had people on it. I feel like I should specify. Doesn't seem to be the case here, but it would be quite an amazing discovery, that's for sure. The great skua was the first bird they saw.
The first living, autonomous organism. Proof of reality. It's the symbol of Insulinde, detective. The coat of arms of the suzerain and the wings on the crest of the commune.
I seem to have it in for it. Or it for me, I broke one.
In your defense, it is a nasty creature who plucks food from the throats of lesser birds. Yet much like Revachol, it is also magnificent and rare. Imagine the suzerain of seagulls.
There was a sting in your heart at the mention before, when she said its name.
And this was the last break we got?
The nations of Mundi proceeded to discover 5 more Isolae. Or they discovered us. All in the rush of the great inter-Islary reconnection. But these others weren't uninhabited. We had to kill people there.
Yeah.
Wipe out indigenous populations. Gunboat economies. Or they came to do the same for us. Or had done to each other. But here, there was no one but the skua, the Liliat Sea, and the Blood Beach, and the River Esperance. It was the new world. The Mondials used it to amass the greatest concentration of wealth mankind has ever seen. Revachol, the suzerain.
What happened?
Revolution, poverty, and the mercurial rise of capitalism.
It's so interesting that you would say that as a representative of one of the biggest, like, corporations in this world. What will you do?
I will take your advice, Lieutenant Chiefrater. I will surrender Terminal B to the Union.
I thought it was not within your means.
She puts her hand in the rain. She's silent for a second.
We will see.
Okay, so you're putting your chips in with the Union. Oh, wow. So this might have much bigger repercussions than I thought.
Ma'am, this may well unravel property law this side of the river. If that occurs, we may never see the end of this kind of confrontation. The next time there will be 2 strikes, then 4, then 100.
Yeah.
What happens will happen.
Que sera, sera. She takes the end in her rain-slick hand and starts untying the knot.
The age of capital has only begun. I will talk to my employers in person. We will amputate and cauterize Martinez. If you handle the situation on the ground.
You will what? amputate and cauterize? But it sounds like the other unions are also like part of this, so I don't think it's gonna be maintained to just Martinez though. You're going now?
Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start. I can't let it grow any bigger. And I've exhausted all my options from here.
We? She generally avoids that term with her employers. True.
There are no employers. She's a member of the board. Probably a partner.
Oh. So you were not just a representative, you were part of the board this whole time. You are the Wild Pines, there are no employers.
You are the citizens' militia. There are no superiors.
She turns to you, rope in hand. What? Of course I have superiors. I mean, I'm a lieutenant, but I'm not the captain.
That's right, Detective. And next time, you should confer with them before you go setting events in motion.
Hey, you told me I should probably tell her.
Despite his words, he's not really sure whether to be annoyed with you or not.
Even after all this time, I still don't really understand who you are or what your angle is. I answer for my own actions. I don't hide behind some faceless organization.
Here I am. I am the face, and I'm here to answer. Rejoice Layton.
Rejoice Layton? What, is that your real name? Yeah, wasn't her name like Joyce L. Messier when she first introduced herself? I mean, she did introduce herself as a board representative, so... But she's supposed to be a senior labor negotiator. I mean, I thought I was saying this to Kim. This sounded kind of confrontational with her. I didn't want to say it like that. Understood.
Keep the peace, and I will keep my end of the bargain.
How far along is Cronell's investigation?
The confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your footsteps.
Have they? Because it looks like they haven't moved at all.
As your investigation reaches a climax, so does theirs. They are your shadow. Arm yourselves. Armor yourselves.
Okay.
Protect their targets. Violence may be unavoidable, but we can limit the casualties.
Again, you hire them. You should be held accountable for what's about to happen. You should be reining them in. You should have never hired fucking mercenaries in the first place. When will they make their move? Where?
Soon. I do not know precisely. They have cut off all communication, you see.
Oh.
They know I've been feeding you information. One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I've given the matter much thought and come to this conclusion. You're not an amnesiac. You're insane.
Really?
I know, because I, too, am insane. I just hide my illness better. And I'm rich.
Isn't everybody a little insane?
No, Detective. No one's as insane as you.
Don't worry, madame. I am very sane.
You're over-radiated, you mean?
I'm overexposed, baby. My travels take me through the Pale dozens of times a year. I've got the longing. And I've got it bad.
She points to her heart.
She would die to return to it. The Pale. The past. Anything one can return to.
How do you keep it together?
The same strict psychological regimen the 8th Admiral developed when he crossed the Pale and discovered this Isola. The Volta do Mar. It's used by inter-Islary travelers and other troubled souls, even to this day.
Can I get that? Maybe I could fix my brain.
You could use a little of it yourself.
Yeah. Goodbye, Joyce L. Messier. Goodbye, Rejoice Layton. Goodbye, nether creature of the forbidden swamp. Goodbye, Joyce.
Watch out for yourselves. They will strike soon.
It's very reassuring.
The lieutenant watches her boat grow smaller on the bay, its white sails fluttering. With worry in his eyes, he does not know if it was the right thing to do, but he doesn't say anything.
Me neither.
Slowly, the sails turn gray-blue as more oxygen gets between you.
Regain the thought. The Insulindian Miracle. You are reminded of a poem somewhere deep inside you, the translation of which you don't remember. Nulla sarà cambiato della luce. It begins. Coloric. Okay, you're gonna have me say that. I don't speak Italian. Colori come grigio e marrone, tutti stampati uno sull'altro. Trovai un vuoto, una macchia bianca, gli altri guardarono. Che bella giornata, che bel tempo, ma senti la rotativa. You were reminded of it when you heard about the discovery of Insulinde. But what does it mean? And how do you know it by heart? Is that the Volta, whatever she said? Maybe I already know it. Also, it's not very nice telling me that I'm insane. I mean, this one is kind of useless now, right? So we might as well forget that. And, sure, we'll internalize the Insulindian miracle. I don't know if we're gonna have time, though. Oh, boy. Well, I've got my gun, I've got my Molotov, and I cannot fast travel to the whirling, which tells me something's going to happen as soon as we get there. I guess this game doesn't care that it's 2 AM. They're like, well, it's time. A faint smell of soldering, melted insulation, nylon, and ozone. Oh no, what's happening? Has it already started? What is happening?
Stop. Just up ahead. Danger.
Okay, so you do warn me at least.
You are prepared. Don't put away your friend, your weapon. It is glowing in your hand, ready to serve. Snow gathers on the oily fabric of the tail end of your necktie turned fuse.
Kim, there's danger up ahead.
Yes, I hear commotion. Let's go.
I am scared.
This isn't the time for fear. Go.
Oh boy. Alright guys, unfortunately we're going to have to stop here for now. I'm sorry, I know this is a bad place to stop because everything is just about to go down. And as you can see, I'm recording this after the fact, like that was a really long recording session, so I have to record my outro later. I know we're just about to get to the juicy part with the mercenaries, but we're gonna have to stop it here for now. So today was a very, very eventful episode. We finally met face to face with Ruby, whom we've been looking for such a long time. And I've got a feeling the next episode is going to be very eventful as well. So, as always, don't forget that you can catch the future episode with a full week of early access by supporting me on Patreon. And I want to thank you all for being here with me today. So until next time, guys, I had fun playing this. Hope you had fun watching it. And I will see you in the next episode for some more Disco Elysium. À la prochaine.